A moment ago, you were walking through a house you owned, even though you'd never seen it before. The rooms and the conversation felt real. Then you opened your eyes. For a few seconds, the memory remains close enough to touch. Then the scenes collapse. The conversation goes first, followed by the location. The sleeping brain possesses the ability to generate a rich, conscious experience, yet it often fails to preserve it. The primary hurdle in understanding why this happens is that scientists cannot observe a dream directly. They can record breathing, muscle tone, and brainwaves, but the internal experience remains private. To know if a dream occurred, researchers must wake the subject and ask. But a person saying they don't remember can mean several things. There may have been no dream at all. The dream might have occurred without being stored, or it was stored briefly, but destroyed by the act of waking up. To figure out why these experiences vanish, researchers first had to establish how to measure an event they could not see. The first major piece of the map emerged in the early 1950s at Nathaniel Kleitman's laboratory. While tracking sleeping participants, graduate student Eugene A. Sarinsky identified periods where eyes darted rapidly beneath closed lids. When researchers woke subjects during this rapid eye movement, or REM sleep, roughly 80% of the awakenings yielded vivid dream reports. For a time, REM sleep and dreaming were treated as the same biological event. But subsequent studies proved the brain generates experiences outside of REM too. Waking subjects from non-REM sleep also produced reports, though these experiences tended to be shorter and more tightly connected to immediate concerns. This chart visualizes data from a study by neurologist Francesca Ciclari and her team, who woke subjects 778 times over 44 nights. Participants reported dreams after 77% of REM awakenings, compared to 34% from non-REM awakenings. This data includes what researchers call white dreams. The subject wakes with a distinct sense of having dreamed, yet they cannot describe a single image or event. An experience was generated, but its contents remained inaccessible. Because both major stages of sleep can produce dreams, and neither guarantees the memory will survive, the biological state of sleep alone cannot explain why some experiences endure. In 1976, David Kulak and Robert Goodenough proposed an explanation that shifted the focus away from sleep itself toward the brief moments when we wake up. This diagram illustrates their arousal-retrieval hypothesis. A dream exists in a highly unstable state. To move into a durable form that the waking mind can access later, it must pass through a narrow transfer window of wakefulness. A team led by neuroscientist Perenine Ruby tested this idea by comparing two groups of people. They found that frequent recallers remembered an average of 5.2 dreams a week, while low recallers remembered only 0.5. By tracking brainwaves and muscle activity, researchers found that the frequent recallers did not generate more REM sleep. Instead, they experienced significantly more awakenings over the course of the night. Earlier work suggests that an awakening of at least 2 minutes provides the necessary time for the brain to notice the dream trace and stabilize it. Generating a dream is not enough. Without the physical opportunity of a multi-minute awakening, the experience never enters the waking brain. Luigi De Gennaro and his colleagues tested this requirement in reverse. By keeping participants awake for 40 consecutive hours, they forced the subjects into a deep recovery sleep that naturally minimized nighttime interruptions. Removing those micro-awakenings almost completely abolished morning dream recall. The bridge out of the sleeping mind was effectively destroyed. The brains of frequent recallers appear biologically primed to build these bridges. When researchers played audio cues to sleeping subjects, the high recallers produced stronger electrical signals associated with turning attention toward unexpected sounds. Brain imaging shows that frequent recallers maintain higher blood flow in regions responsible for attention and memory construction, such as the temporoparietal junction. A highly reactive attentional system pushes a sleeper closer to wakefulness more easily. That reactivity creates more interruptions, and those interruptions provide more encoding opportunities. Frequent dreamers might not actually dream more. Their brains are simply biologically wired to wake up and catch the memory before it degrades. Researchers studying the final moments of sleep before successful dream recall have observed distinct electrical oscillations, specifically frontal theta waves. Those same electrical patterns are associated with episodic memory processes during wakefulness. The brain does not possess a separate, dedicated dream archive. It relies on standard memory systems, but those systems are handicapped during sleep. Parts of the prefrontal cortex responsible for deliberate memory encoding and organized reasoning operate at significantly reduced capacity. The dream itself is not weak while it happens. Rather, the biological system required to store it as a stable record is powered down. The subjective experience is strong, but the resulting memory trace is fragile. When the alarm finally rings, that fragile trace faces immediate interference. The brain must push through sleep inertia, a temporary fog where alertness and basic memory performance are impaired. Light floods the eyes. The body shifts position. A phone displays alerts. The unstable dream memory is suddenly forced to compete with a surge of new sensory information and waking obligations. Ordinary memory relies heavily on context. When waking logic tries to reconstruct a dream where identities or locations were combined without contradiction, it finds no structural hooks to grab onto. Remaining completely still or immediately journaling can shield that trace. It establishes an external structure before waking logic overwrites the context. That elaborate world you experienced seconds before opening your eyes vanished because the fragile chain of altered memory encoding was severed by the reality of waking. The night remains filled with experience. It is simply no longer reachable.